Dr. Zixtol's four eyes blinked in sequence as they stared at the medical scanner's display. The xenobiologist had treated patients from over 200 different species during their career at the Galactic Medical Center, but this was their first human patient. The readings made no sense. "Vree, I believe the scanner is malfunctioning again," Dr. Zixtol called to their assistant. Their throat sacs vibrated with annoyance as they spoke. "These readings cannot be correct." The medical assistant, a tall, willowy being with silvery skin, glided across the examination room to check the equipment. Meanwhile, Lisa Mitchell sat on the examination table, trying not to laugh at the confused alien doctor. She had seen that look before, the one that said humans were somehow wrong just by existing. "The scanner is working perfectly, Doctor," Vree said after running a diagnostic. "All systems are operating within normal parameters." Dr. Zixtol's upper eyes narrowed while their lower ones widened, a sign of deep confusion in their species. They turned back to Lisa, who was still wearing her space freight pilot's uniform, with the patches slightly worn at the edges. "Ms. Mitchell, according to these readings, your skeletal structure is impossibly dense, and your muscle tissue." The doctor paused, tapping their data pad with a clawed finger. "The readings suggest you could lift nearly twice your body weight. That cannot be correct for a species from a low-gravity world." Lisa smiled. "Earth isn't really a low-gravity world by our standards, Doc. It's home." The doctor's skin shifted from its normal pale blue to a deeper shade, their species equivalent of a frustrated blush. "But your planet's atmospheric pressure, the radiation levels, the variable temperatures, how do you survive?" "We just do," Lisa shrugged. "Look, I just need my standard health certificate for my pilot's license renewal. I've got a shipment of agricultural supplies waiting to be delivered to the colony on Proxima B." Dr. Zixtol ignored her request, instead becoming more fascinated by each new reading that appeared on their screen. "Your blood carries iron, actual metal, and your body temperature. You're practically burning up by most species standards." Vree moved closer, their silver skin reflecting the soft light of the examination room. "Doctor, should I call for a specialist?" No, Dr. Zixtol muttered, now fully absorbed in the readings. "Ms. Mitchell, would you consent to a few additional tests? I need to verify these results. This is unprecedented." Lisa checked the time display on her wrist unit. Her shipment wasn't due to leave for another 6 hours. "Will it take long? I really need that certificate today." "Not long at all," the doctor assured her, although their tone suggested they would happily spend days studying her biology. Vree prepared the deep tissue scanner and the bone density analyzer. As Vree prepared the equipment, Dr. Zixtol began asking Lisa questions about Earth. Each answer seemed to astound the alien doctor more. Yes, humans regularly ate foods that would be considered toxic to many species. Yes, they could break bones and heal completely. Yes, they sweated to regulate temperature. "Fascinating," Dr. Zixtol kept muttering, making notes faster and faster on their datapad. "Simply fascinating." The deep tissue scan made Lisa's skin tingle slightly. The bone density analyzer hummed as it worked. With each new test, Dr. Zixtol's excitement grew more obvious, their skin now rippling with patterns of bright blue and white, a sign of intense scientific interest among their species. "Ms. Mitchell," the doctor finally said, their voice filled with barely contained excitement, "would you be willing to participate in a more comprehensive study of human biology? Your species, you're unlike anything I've encountered in 20 years of xenobiology." Lisa looked at the time again. "How about we start with that health certificate, and then we can talk about your study?" Dr. Zixtol blinked all four eyes in agreement, but they couldn't hide their excitement as they prepared the certificate. They had started the day thinking they were dealing with just another fragile species from an underdeveloped world. Now they weren't sure what to think, except that everything they thought they knew about biological limits might need to be reconsidered. 2 days after meeting their first human patient, Dr. Zixtol sat in their private office, surrounded by floating holographic displays showing Lisa Mitchell's test results. The doctor had barely slept, too excited by what they were discovering. "Look at this, Vree," they said, gesturing at one of the displays with a trembling hand. "The human bone density isn't just high. It's practically a natural armor." Vree moved closer to examine the results, their silver skin reflecting the blue glow of the holograms. "But doctor, how can they move so quickly with such dense skeletal structure?" "That's just it." Dr. Sixtel's throat sacs pulsed with excitement. "Their muscle fiber density is equally remarkable. The energy efficiency is off our charts." The door chimed, and Lisa walked in, still wearing her pilot's uniform. "You asked to see me again, Doc." Dr. Sixtel jumped up, all four eyes focusing on their human patient. Yes, please, sit down. I have so many questions." Lisa sat in the specially designed chair that accommodated various alien body types. "I've got 2 hours before my shipment leaves. Will that be enough time?" "Hardly enough for a fraction of what I need to know," the doctor said, pulling up new displays. "Look at this reading. According to our standard tests, you should be dead from radiation exposure." Lisa raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "Your species' background radiation tolerance is incredibly high," Vree explained, their voice soft and melodious. "Most species would suffer severe cellular damage at these levels." Dr. Sixtel nodded enthusiastically. "And your healing rate? I checked your medical history. You broke your arm 2 years ago." "Yeah, loading accident. Nothing serious." "Nothing serious." The doctor's skin rippled with blue patterns of excitement. "The bone knitted completely in 6 weeks. Do you know how long that would take most species? And the bone is now stronger at the break point." Lisa shrugged. "That's normal for us. Don't your people heal from breaks?" The doctor's lower eyes blinked rapidly. "Most species never fully recover from such injuries. Those who do take months or years to heal, often requiring cybernetic assistance." They pulled up another display, showing a complex diagram of human cellular structure. "And your cellular regeneration rate is extraordinary. Your bodies are constantly rebuilding themselves." "Is that unusual?" Lisa asked, genuinely curious now. "Unusual?" Dr. Sixtel's voice rose an octave. "It's unheard of. Most species require medical intervention to achieve half this regeneration rate. And your immune system, it's incredibly aggressive. It attacks anything foreign in your body." Lisa smiled. "Well, Earth has a lot of things that can make you sick. We had to adapt." The doctor moved to another display. "And your digestive system. You can process foods that would kill most species. Your stomach acid could eat through standard containment materials." "Now you're making me sound like some kind of monster," Lisa laughed. Dr. Sixtel's skin flushed deep blue. No. You're magnificent. Your species has evolved solutions we never thought possible. The implications for medical science are staggering." They turned to another screen. "And your temperature regulation system is fascinating. You maintain internal homeostasis across a remarkable range of external conditions. Most species require environmental suits for half the conditions humans consider normal." Lisa checked her wrist unit. "This is all very interesting, Doc, but I've got a schedule to keep." Of course," Dr. Sixtel said quickly. "But would you consider coming back, and perhaps helping me contact other humans for study? The Galactic Medical Board needs to see these results." Lisa stood up, adjusting her uniform. "I'll be back in 2 weeks after my delivery run. You can poke and prod me some more then." As Lisa left the office, Dr. Sixtel turned to Vree, their skin now showing patterns of deep thought. "We need to document everything. Every single detail. This changes all our assumptions about biological limitations." Vree nodded, their silver skin gleaming. "Should I prepare a preliminary report for the medical board?" "Yes," Dr. Sixtel said, still staring at the displays. "But mark it as urgent. Very urgent. We're not just dealing with an interesting anomaly here. We're looking at the rewriting of xenobiology as we know it. Word spread quickly through the Galactic Medical Center about the strange doctor who was fascinated by human biology. Within a week of Lisa Mitchell's second visit, 2 more humans arrived at Dr. Zixfel's office, curious about the alien doctor who actually wanted to study them. John Carter was a construction worker helping build the new wing of the medical center. Mary Summers worked as a translator for the Galactic Diplomatic Corps. Both sat in Dr. Zixfel's examination room, watching with amusement as the excited doctor scanned them. "This is remarkable," Dr. Zixfel said, their throat sacs vibrating with excitement. "Your readings match Ms. Mitchell's patterns exactly. The bone density, the muscle structure, the cellular regeneration, it's the same." Vree moved smoothly between the examination beds, helping with the equipment. "Doctor, should we add the radiation resistance tests?" "Yes, yes." Dr. Zixfel's skin rippled with bright blue patterns. "Mr. Carter, Miss Summers, would you consent to radiation exposure analysis?" John raised an eyebrow. "Is it safe?" "Completely," Vree assured him. "The levels are well within human tolerance ranges." Marie smiled. "You mean well above what most aliens can handle?" Dr. Zixfel's upper eyes blinked rapidly. "Indeed. What your species considers safe would kill most of our patients. We had to recalibrate all our equipment just to properly measure your tolerances." The tests continued, with Dr. Zixfel growing more excited with each new reading. They called up Lisa's previous results, comparing them with the new data from John and Marie. "Look at this," they exclaimed. "The patterns are consistent across all 3 subjects. This isn't an anomaly. This is standard human biology." John laughed. "Doc, you're acting like we're some kind of super beings. We're just normal people." Dr. Zixfel's skin shifted to a deep blue. "Normal? Mr. Carter, you regularly work in conditions that would require most species to wear full environmental suits. Your body processes radiation that would cause severe mutation in others. Your bones can withstand impacts that would shatter most exoskeletons." "Well, when you put it that way," Marie said, grinning. "Maybe we are a bit unusual." Vree checked another set of readings. "Doctor, the Galactic Medical Board has responded to your preliminary report. They're skeptical." "Skeptical?" Dr. Zixfel's lower eyes narrowed. "Send them these new results. 3 separate subjects, all showing the same remarkable characteristics. This isn't a fluke. It's evolutionary adaptation on an unprecedented scale." The doctor turned back to their human patients. "Your species evolved on a death world by our standards. High gravity, intense radiation, extreme temperature variations, aggressive pathogens. Yet instead of dying out, you thrived. Your bodies adapted in ways we thought impossible." Marie leaned forward, interested. "What do you mean, impossible?" "Your cellular structure alone defies conventional biological models," Dr. Zixfel explained, pulling up a detailed display. "You can repair radiation damage that would be fatal to most species. Your immune system doesn't just fight infection. It remembers and adapts to new threats. Your digestive system can process substances that would be considered toxic waste on most worlds." John looked at his watch. "Break's almost over, Doc. Need anything else?" "Yes. No. I mean," Dr. Zixfel's skin swirled with patterns of excitement and frustration. "Would you both be willing to participate in a long-term study? The implications for galactic medicine are enormous." Marie nodded. "As long as it doesn't interfere with my diplomatic duties." "I'm in too," John said. "Though I have to admit, it's kind of fun watching you get excited about things we take for granted." As their new human patients left, Dr. Zixfel turned to Vree. "Schedule full panels for next week. We need to document everything, every single detail." Vree's silver skin shimmered. "The medical board might still be difficult to convince." "Then we'll give them proof they can't ignore," Dr. Zixfel said firmly. "Humans aren't just another species. They're rewriting everything we thought we knew about biological possibilities. and I'm going to prove it. The main hall of the Galactic Medical Conference was packed with beings from across the galaxy. Dr. Zixtel stood on the floating platform, their skin showing nervous blue patterns as they faced the crowd. Behind them, massive screens displayed human biological data. Distinguished colleagues, they began, throat sacs pulsing steadily. What you are about to see will change everything we know about biological limits. In the front row, Lisa Mitchell sat with John Carter and Marie Summers. Next to them was Dr. Samuel Wright, a human doctor who had volunteered to help explain Earth's medical practices. These are not edited readings, Dr. Zixtel continued, bringing up the first set of scans. These are standard medical scans from multiple human subjects. As you can see, their bone density alone challenges our basic assumptions about survivable planetary conditions. A Rigelian doctor stood up, their crystalline form catching the light. These readings cannot be correct. No species could survive with such high body temperature. Dr. Wright stepped onto the platform, smiling at the crowd. Actually, what you consider a dangerous fever is our normal body temperature. We're warm-blooded mammals. Murmurs spread through the audience. A Venusian medical researcher raised 3 of their tentacles. But the acid levels in their digestive system, it would dissolve standard medical equipment. That's why we had to develop new testing methods, Dr. Zixtel explained, their excitement starting to overcome their nervousness. Humans can digest foods that would be lethal to most species. Their stomach acid is strong enough to break down materials we consider indigestible. Dr. Wright nodded. Earth's variety of life forms meant we needed to be able to process many different types of organic matter. Our digestive system evolved to handle it. More displays appeared, showing human muscle tissue and nerve responses. The audience's reactions ranged from disbelief to fascination. Look at their healing factor, Dr. Zixtel said, pointing to a time-lapse of bone repair. They can recover from broken bones in weeks, not years. Their bodies actually become stronger at the healing sites. A Centaurian doctor shook their head, all 6 eyes blinking in sequence. But their planet, the conditions you described would kill most species. Exactly. Dr. Zixtel's skin lit up with bright patterns. Earth has higher gravity than most inhabited worlds, intense radiation from their sun, extreme temperature variations, countless pathogens. Instead of dying out, humans adapted. They became stronger. Dr. Wright took over, explaining Earth's environment. Our world shaped us. High gravity gave us dense bones and strong muscles. Solar radiation led to advanced cellular repair. Temperature variations created our adaptive bodies. Diseases helped develop our robust immune system. The hall erupted in discussion. Questions came from all directions. Dr. Zixtel and Dr. Wright answered each one, showing more evidence, explaining more details. But the implications for medical science, a Proximan researcher said, their bioluminescent spots glowing with excitement. If humans can naturally heal this way, imagine what we could learn. Lisa stood up from her seat. We're not special. We're just adapted to our world, like you're adapted to yours. That's where you're wrong, Dr. Zixtel said, their skin showing patterns of deep respect. Your adaptations go beyond survival. They show us that biology is more flexible than we ever imagined. The medical possibilities are endless. As the presentation continued, more doctors became convinced. The initial skepticism turned to curiosity, then to excitement. Dr. Zixtel watched with satisfaction as their colleagues began to understand what they had discovered. This is just the beginning, they told the crowd. We've only started to understand human biology. Each new test reveals more surprises. They're not just another species. They're proof that our understanding of biological limits needs to be completely reconsidered. The conference hall buzzed with energy. A new field of medical science was being born, all because one alien doctor had looked past their initial assumptions about a supposedly simple species from a death world. The emergency alert woke Dr. Zixtel from their rest cycle. Their skin flickered with concern as they read the message. Major accident at the Proxima mining colony. Multiple casualties incoming. Vree, they called out, rushing to the emergency wing. Prepare all available medical pods. Their assistant was already there, silver skin gleaming under the bright lights. 3 transport ships incoming, Doctor. First one arrives in 10 minutes. The medical center burst into activity. Doctors of various species moved quickly, preparing for the worst. Dr. Zixtel checked the initial report. A tunnel collapse had trapped miners deep underground. Toxic gas had filled the lower levels before emergency systems activated. The first transport arrived with a whoosh of pressurized air. Medical teams rushed to help the injured miners. Most were Proximan and Centaurian workers, their bodies struggling with toxic exposure and crush injuries. Doctor, Vree called out, we have a human patient. Dr. Zixtel rushed to the next transport. Richard Palmer lay on a stretcher, his mining suit torn and crushed. The doctors around him seemed unsure how to proceed. His readings are all wrong, one Proximan doctor said, their bioluminescent spots pulsing with worry. Temperature too high, blood pressure impossible. He's human, Dr. Zixtel explained quickly. Those are normal readings. How long was he exposed to the gas? Almost 30 minutes, the rescue team leader reported. He stayed behind to help others get out. The other doctors looked shocked. 30 minutes of exposure would have killed most species in minutes. Dr. Zixtel's skin showed patterns of intense concentration as they began treatment. Remarkable, they muttered, watching the medical pod's readings. His body is already fighting the toxins. Cellular repair is active, even with these injuries. Richard's eyes fluttered open. Others. Are the others okay? Save your strength, Dr. Zixtel said firmly. Your body is dealing with severe trauma. But Richard's readings kept improving. Hour after hour, his vital signs stabilized. His broken bones began knitting together. His lungs cleared the toxic residue. The medical staff watched in amazement. Impossible, a Centaurian doctor whispered. The gas levels in his blood should be fatal. Dr. Zixtel's skin rippled with excitement despite the serious situation. Not for humans. Their blood chemistry can handle toxin levels that would kill most species. And look at his tissue regeneration rate. More casualties arrived through the night. The medical team worked tirelessly. But as the emergency slowly stabilized, one fact became clear. The human survival rate was significantly higher than other species. How? The Proximan doctor asked, watching Richard's medical pod. The conditions down there. Their planet prepared them for this, Dr. Zixtel explained. High-pressure environments, toxic gases, crushing weights. These are all things humans evolved to survive. By morning, Richard was sitting up in his pod, talking to the medical staff. His bones were already showing signs of healing. His blood was clearing the toxins naturally. Even his crushed tissue was regenerating. Just doing my job, he said when Dr. Zixtel asked about his rescue efforts. Couldn't leave anyone behind. Vree checked the latest readings. Doctor, his recovery rate is exceeding even our updated human baseline predictions. Dr. Zixtel's skin showed patterns of deep thought. We need to document everything. This isn't just about scientific curiosity anymore. Understanding human biology could help us save more lives. The Proximan doctor nodded. The way he helped others, staying in toxic conditions that would kill us instantly. Maybe we've been underestimating humans all along. Not underestimating. Dr. Zixtel corrected, their skin glowing with respect. We just didn't understand. Humans don't just survive in conditions that would kill other species. They go back into those conditions to save others. Their biology allows them to be heroes. The publication of Dr. Zixtel's paper on human biology sent waves through the galactic medical community. Extraordinary adaptations. A comprehensive study of human biological capabilities became the most downloaded research paper in the galactic medical database's history. Dr. Zixtel sat in their office, watching messages pour in from across the galaxy. Their skin showed swirling patterns of pride and excitement as they read the responses with Vree. Another research team wants to collaborate, Vri said, their silver skin reflecting the morning light. This time from the Andromeda Medical Institute. Add them to the list, Dr. Zixtal replied, their throat sacs vibrating with happiness. But first, our human patients are arriving for their follow-up studies. Lisa Mitchell walked in first, followed by John Carter and Marie Summers. Richard Palmer came last, fully recovered from the mining accident just 2 weeks ago. You've made us famous, Doc, Lisa said with a laugh. Every alien I meet on my freight runs now looks at me like I'm some kind of superhero. Dr. Zixtal's upper eyes blinked in amusement. You are helping us understand biology in entirely new ways. Look at these responses to the paper. They showed their human patients the incoming messages. Medical researchers across the galaxy were amazed by the findings. Many had assumed the initial reports were exaggerated. Your bone density scans alone have changed our understanding of planetary adaptation, Dr. Zixtal explained, and Richard's recovery from the mining accident. It's revolutionizing our emergency treatment protocols. Richard shrugged. Still don't see what the big deal is. We just heal fast. Fast. Dr. Zixtal's skin rippled with excitement. You recovered from toxic exposure and crushing injuries in 2 weeks. Most species would take months to heal, if they survived at all. Marie leaned forward, interested. Has this changed how other doctors treat humans? Completely, Vri answered, pulling up new medical protocols on a floating screen. We've had to create entirely new treatment guidelines. No more treating humans like fragile beings. Now we know how resilient you really are. John looked at the protocols. So that's why my last health check was different. The doctor actually understood my readings. Exactly, Dr. Zixtal exclaimed. We're training doctors across the galaxy in human medical care. Your species is changing everything we thought we knew about biological limits. More messages appeared on the doctor's screen. Medical centers everywhere wanted to learn about human biology. Research teams were studying the implications for treating other species. The Galactic Medical Board is creating a new division, Dr. Zixtal announced proudly. The Department of Human Biological Studies. They want me to lead it. Lisa smiled. Not bad for a doctor who thought their equipment was broken when they first saw my scans. Dr. Zixtal's skin flushed deep blue with embarrassment. I was wrong. Wonderfully, amazingly wrong. Your species has taught us that we need to question our assumptions about what's possible. More humans are coming to the medical center now, Vri added. They trust us because we understand their biology. Richard nodded. Word spreads fast, especially after how you treated the mining accident victims. You helped prove everything I wrote in my paper, Dr. Zixtal told him. Your recovery showed the galaxy what humans can really do. The office grew quiet as another message appeared, this one from the Galactic Science Academy. They wanted to award Dr. Zixtal their highest honor for breakthrough research. Congratulations, Doc, Lisa said warmly. You deserved it. Dr. Zixtal's skin showed patterns of gratitude. I just documented what was already there. Your species did the impossible part. You evolved to thrive in conditions that should have killed you. I simply helped others understand how remarkable that is. 6 months after Dr. Zixtal's paper changed galactic medicine, the new Human Biology Department opened its doors at the Galactic Medical Center. The doctors stood proudly in their new office, their skin glowing with bright patterns of accomplishment as they looked at their team. Dr. Samuel Wright, now their official human medical consultant, helped arrange the latest equipment. Vri, promoted to head research assistant, organized the incoming patient data. The walls displayed interactive holograms of human biological systems, each one a testament to humanity's remarkable adaptations. First day of official operations, Dr. Wright said, smiling, ready to make history again. Dr. Zixtal's throat sacs vibrated with gentle laughter. We're already changing how the galaxy sees human biology. Look at our waiting list. Vri brought up a floating screen showing hundreds of appointments. More humans are traveling to other worlds now. They feel safer knowing medical centers understand their biology. The first patient of the day arrived, a young human explorer named Amy Baker. She watched with interest as Dr. Zixtel began the examination, no longer surprised by the readings that once seemed impossible. "Your department is famous, you know," Amy told them. "Every human spacer talks about the alien doctor who actually understands us." Dr. Zixtel's skin showed patterns of pride and humility. "I just helped others see what was already there. Your species rewrote our understanding of biological possibilities." Lisa Mitchell stopped by during her regular freight run, bringing news from other medical centers. "They're using your protocols everywhere now, Doc. No more panicked aliens thinking we're dying because we're too hot. And no more treating humans like fragile creatures," Dr. Wright added, "though some species still can't believe what we can survive." The doctor's research team worked in the adjacent lab, studying new aspects of human biology. Each day brought new discoveries about how humans adapted to their challenging world. "Remember when you thought your scanner was broken?" Vri asked, their silver skin shimmering with amusement. "How could I forget?" Dr. Zixtel's upper eyes crinkled with joy. That was the day everything changed. One simple health check turned into a revolution in medical science. Richard Palmer visited too, fully healed from the mining accident. Other doctors still studied his case, amazed by his recovery. His story had become a standard teaching example in xenobiology classes. "The mining company changed their emergency protocols," he reported. "They're putting humans on all rescue teams now. Our natural resistance to toxic environments saves lives." Dr. Zixtel nodded, their skin showing deep satisfaction. "Your biology makes you natural rescue workers. You can survive conditions that would kill most species instantly." The day continued with more patients, more research, and more discoveries. Each human who visited helped build their understanding of this remarkable species. "Doctor," Vri called out late in the day, the Galactic Medical Board sent their annual report. "Human treatment success rates are up by 300% across all medical centers." Dr. Zixtel's skin glowed with happiness, "because we finally understand how to treat them properly. No more assuming they're fragile. No more wrong protocols." As they prepared to end their first official day, a group of medical students arrived, a mix of species, all eager to learn about human biology. "Welcome," Dr. Zixtel said warmly. "Today you'll learn about a species that changed everything we thought we knew about biological limits, a species that shows us that the impossible is possible." They looked at their team, human and alien working together to advance medical science. Their skin showed patterns of pure joy as they began their lecture. "Let me tell you about the day I first met a human patient," they said. "The day I thought my scanner was broken, but instead discovered that humans were far more remarkable than anyone had ever imagined."